A wet weekend across Central Florida. Which areas saw some flooding on Friday night and where there is still some concern today. And some local kids will begin getting vaccinated this weekend. We'll show you the places offering the shot starting today for the newest eligible age group. And an agreement on infrastructure. What's in the late night deal that was reached by lawmakers? And a simple act of kindness can go a long way.
Everything we do goes to charity.
How a local thrift store is providing relief to Central Florida families and beyond. Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us here live on Spectrum News 13 this Saturday morning at 8 a.m. I'm Rachel Krause in for Julie Gargana. Well, we are kicking off this weekend with some rain, especially over in the Daytona Beach area. This is video from Daytona Beach last night where some areas saw upwards of 10 inches of rain. Certified meteorologist Chris Gilson is joining us now live from the Weather Center. And Chris, hoping things dry out a little bit today, but I don't think that hope's going to get me too far.
Yeah, if you're hoping for the sunshine, that's going to be tough, but we will kind of dry things out a little bit. We still have some rain around this morning. Here's a look at the skies over Flagler Beach from the GenerXGenerators.com cam. Seeing a little hint of some sunshine there, but also notice how rough the ocean waters are. So we are looking at some coastal hazards, including, of course, the rip current risk and also dangerous boating conditions this weekend with the high winds that we have in place. Those high winds also ushering in these colder temperatures. Take a look at the 24-hour temperature change right now compared to 8 o'clock on Friday morning. We're about 10 to 15 degrees colder across the board, with temperatures right now still in the middle to upper 50s. And if you're hoping for a warm-up today, well, these temperatures are just going to level out in the upper 50s, lower 60s at best. We'll time out the winds, track those temperatures, and also the rain for this weekend, all coming up in this half hour of your Weather on the Ones. Rachel?
This marks the first weekend that big box retailers are offering the COVID-19 vaccine for children ages 5 to 11. CDC Director Rochelle Walensky gave the final stamp of approval for the vaccine for this age group earlier this week. Spectrum News 13's Emily Braun is live outside one of those locations that's going to be offering the vaccine for kids, Walgreens. And Emily, appointments are already filling up.
Right, Rachel. The online appointment systems for these big box stores like Walgreens, CVS, and Winn-Dixie are already up and running. And when I checked out the websites earlier this morning, it seemed that there was already quite a bit of interest in those appointments filling up from parents and families. Then there are about 28 million children in the United States that fall into this new eligible age group. Experts have been urging parents to strongly consider getting their children vaccinated. And we've heard from countless health experts that even though deaths from COVID-19 in children are less likely than in an older person, they are still at high risk of catching and spreading it.
So many of us have been worried about what happens as the weather gets cold, as everyone goes indoors, as those windows start getting shut in schools and ventilation gets worse. Having the kids vaccinated helps to stop that.
In clinical trials, the vaccine side effects in children were mild and similar to side effects that would come with other vaccines that they and parents are already familiar with, the most common side effect being a sore arm. Walgreens and Winn-Dixie start their vaccinations today, and CVS will start theirs tomorrow. Reporting live in Orlando, Emily Braun, Spectrum News 13.
Thanks so much, Emily. And starting next week, Orange County Public Schools will be holding events to get kids vaccinated. 22 high schools will offer shots on November 9th, 10th, and 11th from 4 until 8 p.m. and on Saturday the 13th from 9 in the morning until 1 in the afternoon. And parents, you do have to be there with your kids, and you do need to bring a consent form with you as well. You can find the full list of schools where this is happening on the Spectrum News app. Well, Novavax plans to turn in complete data to the FDA before the end of the year. Its aim is to earn possible emergency use authorization for its vaccine. The biotech company's CEO says 100 million doses would be ready to ship initially if a green light is given by the FDA. Novavax says its vaccine manufacturing method is more conventional than those vaccines currently authorized for use in the U.S. Their version stimulates immunity by using small laboratory laboratory-made pieces of the coronavirus. The company has already applied for EUAs in several other countries. And we are constantly tracking new developments as it relates to the coronavirus every day. For the latest information, be sure to keep tabs on the Spectrum News app for vaccine info, local stories, and more. The sentencing phase of Markey Lloyd's second murder trial has now been delayed until December. The judge says it's to allow Lloyd to testify about the use of force that was used on him during his arrest. This week, Lloyd was convicted of murdering Orlando Police Lieutenant Deborah Clayton. He is already serving a life sentence for killing his pregnant ex-girlfriend, Sade Dixon. Now, for killing Lieutenant Clayton, he could face the death penalty. That part of the trial was set to begin today, but state prosecutors say they need more time to prepare. The judge says she will release the jury this weekend and begin the penalty phase on December 6th. And it was a late night in the nation's capital as the House approved the biggest infrastructure bill in more than a decade, sending it on now to President Joe Biden for his signature. It calls for spending $1.2 trillion to improve roads, bridges, broadband, water systems, and more. Spectrum News 13's Julia Benbrook is in our Washington bureau and shows us the issues leading up to this point and the negotiations that took place.
Improving the nation's infrastructure is a cornerstone of President Joe Biden's agenda, but getting this bill to the finish line was anything but easy. Biden spent months lining up Republican support in the Senate so that it could pass that chamber. Getting House Democrats on the same page took several more months of wrangling as well. The problem was split between moderate and progressive Democrats. The progressives insisted the infrastructure bill be approved along with Biden's Build Back Better Act. More than $1.5 trillion in climate and social spending. Some of the moderates said they needed to see a financial analysis of the second spending bill before they could support it.
We had hoped to be able to bring both bills to the floor today. Some members want more clarification or validation of numbers that have been put forth, that it's top line, that it is fully paid for, and we honor that request.
Those demands touched off an extraordinary day of negotiations on Capitol Hill. The president called lawmakers, urging them to come together, telling them passage was crucial. Late Friday evening, moderates released a statement promising to support the social climate and spending bill once the financial analysis is completed. They said if the analysis shows the bill would contribute to the deficit, they would work to address that. The president signaled in the morning that he wanted to get this done, hoping for back-to-back wins after an encouraging jobs report. He put off traveling to his home in Delaware for the weekend to see the talks through. When the deal was done, he released a statement saying he is confident the House will pass the Build Back Better Act the week of November 15th.
That was Spectrum News 13's Julia Benbrook reporting. Well, COVID-19 has forced many individuals to seek out a bargain when it comes to shopping. Spectrum News 13's Stephanie Bachara shows us how an Osceola County thrift shop is giving donated items a second chance and in the process helping St. Cloud families in need.
Bright and early, Jill Luthi comes into the Second Chance thrift shop. Luthi puts in hours like she owns the place, helping organize and put away clothes. But really, she's a volunteer here.
And then we bring them in, make sure they're steamed and cleaned.
The shop is actually run by the St. Cloud Presbyterian Church. The church had a thrift store in downtown that had to close 4 years ago. This new thrift shop on 13th Street recently opened to help fill the gap.
Well, it's a group effort. We all have to kind of pitch in.
According to the Central Florida Commission on Homelessness, in the past year, 665 people entered the homelessness system here in Osceola County.
Such a pretty gift box.
Luthi says the need is great, especially because of the pandemic and the challenges it's brought. Luthi recalls her own financial struggles growing up.
A store like this would have been a real blessing to my family. And so I see that coming from that point of view, that I just want to be able to make it available to the people that do need it.
Items are donated and sold at a bargain. Purchases made here help fund the missions of St. Cloud Presbyterian. Right now, the church is not just focusing on local efforts, but is also collecting donations for Haiti.
We get people in almost every day that comment about how nice it is and how they appreciate having a place to get things that aren't, you know, top dollar, because there's a lot of people in most communities that really can't afford to go out and pay full price for everything, and this really helps with their budgets.
From jewelry and decor to books, there's a little bit of everything here.
I think they should just come and look.
A store with a purpose, giving others a second chance.
I would love to see us be able to expand, keep the same atmosphere, but in a bigger store.
Kindness, it's what's on special this week
We had a great day.
at the Second Chance Thrift Shop.
See you tomorrow.
In St. Cloud, Stephanie Bechara, Spectrum, News 13.
So great to see there. Well, the Second Chance Thrift Shop is open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 in the morning until 5 in the afternoon. And parts of Daytona Beach were pummeled by heavy rain and winds last night, leading to flooding in some spots. International Speedway looked more like a river over by US 1. This sedan was stuck for more than an hour and a half until a tow truck came by. Some parts of the city got 8 to 10 inches of rain. We spoke with one man who says he hit some flooded spots, but not the worst of it.
We haven't had a hurricane all year, so this is like the end of the season, so we're okay. We're fine with that.
Public Works made their way through the city on Friday night, clearing out clogged storm drains. Flooded streets like Magnolia Avenue were blocked off from the traffic. And absolutely a rainy Friday night, but we're hoping for a little bit of a better Saturday, especially for folks who are headed out to the games. Time now 8:11. We want to check on in with certified meteorologist Chris Gilson. And Chris, are things going to be okay out there?
You're from Minnesota, right?
I
Rachel?
am, yeah.
So this may give you a little taste of Minnesota weather. Maybe not at that extreme, but for us here in Florida, it is going to be a cold day here in Central Florida for this Saturday afternoon. It's going to be a sweatshirt, jacket.